Hello, my name is Maria Fernanda, and I'm the host of IO Scholarship Superheroes podcast.
Easy, easy, so easy.
This podcast is only a 10-minute podcast that highlights the best kept secret of IO scholars, job recruiters, and community influencers. And most importantly, we want to provide you financial resources to go to college debt-free and become financially savvy.
Yes, and you have a great team to create solutions, and also you spearhead so many initiatives within Sivotec, and also you have time to be part of the Association of Cuban Engineers, and I heard that you received the Texas Instrument Scholarship. So as you know, our platform, our one of our main value proposition is that we provide access to students for scholarships. And last year, $100 million were actually wasted because students didn't apply for scholarships. So how important were scholarships in your journey, and what advice would you give students who want to win scholarships?
Of course. So scholarships have actually been very important for my journey. And not only because it gave me access to actually getting an education, but what people don't realize is everything that goes behind just the education, right? So the scholarships have allowed me to have more financial flexibility, right? Meaning that instead of having to work, at the school cafeteria, or to work, I actually used to bounce for parties and clubs and be a DJ, like I mentioned, to make money. Scholarships actually allow you to have a lot more free time because you're not worried about paying off debt or, those type of things and the loan. So they've allowed me to have more flexibility to work for Sivotec or to, work on trying to start little companies that are huge learning experiences. And unfortunately, when you're worried about day to day of how am I going to pay this loan back, right? That becomes very difficult to be able to explore those incredible opportunities that are in front of us, right? And my advice to getting those scholarships, two things: plan, go online, look at what's available, right? Because a lot of times there are time windows for these scholarships, right? And there are a certain set of criteria that you need. So plan, meet those criteria, and then apply. Don't stop applying, right? Whatever methodology you can use, there's a lot of tools technically to automate things now, right? But apply, constantly apply.
Yes, and that's the beauty of IO Scholarship. We are launching actually our Innovation of the Future Scholarship. The deadline is July 1st, so there is time. And as you said, it's very important to apply several times. I always tell the students, if within a weekend you invest 10 hours, okay, and you get, $10,000 with those 10 hours, that's $1,000 per hour. That's a very well-paid job. So as you said, keep on investing and
in yourself.
Yes,
invest in yourself.
Exactly. And the other thing I like is that what you mentioned that is so important, because time is a precious resource, and to be focused is that scholarship allow you to focus on important projects. So I guess you mentioned a little bit of your secret to time management, and how do you stay productive, being very focused. Am I right?
Yeah. It's, I think that I have days that I'm very productive and days that I'm not very productive, right? I have ADHD. And for those people who are listening who do have ADHD, we know that sometimes if we start the day on the wrong foot, next thing you know, I know everything there is to know about some niche topic on the internet, right? And what I have found to be the most important thing is not necessarily, there's so much advice out there about how to be productive, how to maintain a schedule. oh, go read this book, go read that book, go read Atomic Habits, watch this YouTube video, follow this influencer. The most important part, honestly, is not being hard on yourself. That is the most important part, because you will mess up time and time again trying to wake up early, trying to get your workout in, trying to, do your homework ahead of time, things like that. But what ends up happening is that we get really frustrated in ourselves because we underperform. So being able to say, screw it, I'm just going to get back into it no matter that I had a bad day yesterday or a bad morning, is the most important part. It's so easy to get lost in the perfection mindset. And something I think my grandfather once said is, don't let perfection get in the way of an excellent day.
Oh, I love that. Especially the positive mindset that you have. You're very resilient. You mentioned that your mother and your family were really big role models for you to continue pursuing careers in STEM. And also, you're also a two-time US rowing national champion. So how has being a competitive athlete shape your mindset as an engineer and entrepreneur?
Yeah, for clarity, that was quite a while ago. I'm an UNC now, right? But I will say that athletics is very important. And what it taught me specifically is, no matter what deck of cards you're given, whatever hand you get, you got to play with that hand, and you do everything you possibly can to optimize with that hand. So I was a rower, and I'm not short, but I'm not very tall for a rower. Like when I was on the MIT men's rowing team, I would have been the shortest rower on the women's team, essentially, right? And I'm 6 feet tall. So I very much learned that you work with the best you got. And we ended up, in high school specifically, I was much smaller than a lot of our competition. We rowed from a rowing club that was very poorly funded compared to these, other clubs. It is a very wealthy type of sport, but most of our rowers needed, essentially donations and scholarships almost, right, to go to the rowing events themselves. Our boat was, everyone had these incredibly nice boats, like Empakers, Philippes, Italian, German boats are like Ferraris of the world. And we had the American version, right, which is like apparently not as nice, except it wasn't just the American version. It was the Chinese knockoff of the American version.
Visit IO Scholarships, as we have access to thousands of STEM scholarships based on your unique ethnic background, waiting for you today. Some of them only require 2.5 GPA and no essay. Remember, the more you apply, the more chances you have to win. Apply today.
Essentially, everything was going against us. But I remember my buddy Diego, him and I, we were doubles partners, and that's what we won in high school. And it meant a lot to me, that one, because, we had all of the reasons to not win. We were smaller, we were lighter, right? We didn't look as strong, we didn't have as good technique, but we worked day in, day out to make sure that we were perfectly in sync, worked perfectly together as a unit. And in the world of rowing, that's optimizing efficiency. And so we ended up becoming very dominant and winning that national title. And I think if I didn't have all those setbacks, I wouldn't have been as good as I was. Like my freshman, sophomore year of high school, I won 3 medals. That sounds like a lot, but when you go to like 40 races and you win 3 and they're like bronzes or like participatory, it's not great. But junior, senior year, I ended up winning pretty much every single thing I did. Senior year, I was undefeated the whole time. And that's because I lost a lot. So I think the things that athletics tell you is, how do you work with what you have? It doesn't matter if you're David fighting Goliath. You're going to do your best shot. And honestly, I think if you lose in athletics, it's even better than winning, because you learn a lot from losing. You don't learn a lot from winning. That's
true in life too. Like the best, ideas and concepts come, sometimes from failing before, and then is always about it's about the journey, not the destination. And I agree with you. And I like that you were very strategic of how teamwork plays into winning also when you have like, and it's the same like when you build a company and so forth. If you don't have a great team in place, you cannot
Yep.
scale even with technology. So that is such a good advice that you provide students. And last question, looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of biotech and AI in healthcare and the problems you hope to solve next?
Of course. I'm always looking at finishing off, obviously, what we're doing now, but also what's tomorrow. I think there's a very interesting Larry Ellison quote, or maybe he quoted someone else, and he said, "Don't confuse today for tomorrow." Right? You have many companies that focus on, oh my God, large language, like for example, large language models, they're huge, amazing. Let's invest billions of dollars, right? That's today's technology. That's not tomorrow's technology, right? And there's a confusion with that. But what I'm most excited about specifically is specialized machine learning models for like signal analysis in healthcare. So you end up, if you look at some of these devices, software says medical devices that have been approved by the FDA, you need your own your custom machine learning model to handle, signal analysis, ECGs versus EMGs versus EEGs, right? All these different types of signals. Maybe we're doing radio imaging. And so as we go and build libraries of these systems, right? Next thing you know, you could have a patient walk in, do all your scans. The processing is extremely cheap now because you're just using the software side, right? And I think that will end up lowering the cost of healthcare, at least for those type of things. Now, what people don't really understand is that when you walk into a hospital, and you're getting an ECG, the leads are made by, what's the name of the company? Cerner. The monitors, Philips. The EHR system is Epic, and the computers are by Philips, right? So there is no integration of data. And that's like one of the biggest problems, I think, in healthcare. So you have, there has been recently a movement by CMS to integrate the patient record aspects. But if, I'm very excited for the day where we can actually have a centralized software platform that integrates all of those other components that are not just semantic data, right? Semantic data. So your signals and stuff like that. And if we can have that, think about all the training data we can use for these machine learning programs, So I think that's ultimately going to play a role in reducing the misdiagnosis in the United States. I recently posted on LinkedIn, and it's just an amazing article by Dr. Newman Toker from Johns Hopkins about the fact that there are 800,000 serious harm cases in the United States every single year, with around 371,000 deaths and 400-something thousand disabilities, all from false negative misdiagnosis. Again, it's false negative. That doesn't include over-testing, over-diagnosis, incorrect prescriptions, things like that. So there's a massive problem here in the United States and abroad. And I think the future of healthcare is going to be trying to tackle the root of that instead of tackling the, insurance, CPT code generation, matching, things like that. So I'm most excited, honestly, for the increased quality of healthcare that we're going to get because of these novel artificial intelligences.
Wow, excellent what you just have said, because you're making a big impact in the healthcare industry. But the most important thing is that you mentioned not only the impact, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So
Trillion. Yeah.
Angel investors that are listening to Rob Cancios actually pay attention, because the platform, and they're raising money now, and there is a lot of investment in this company. They're solving very big problems on a global level, that is misdiagnosis, that takes healthcare costs and impact, healthcare companies and so forth. And on top of that, you are doing something really great in the healthcare biogenetic, you are trying to solve a big problem. So thank you, Sivotec, Rob, and all the leadership for creating something that it create impact, meaningful impact with AI. And also you're working always in bigger things. The next platform will be even more advanced. So again, angel investors, VC, listen to this. This is the opportunity to invest in a great company that are doing great things. And I guess like this, Rob, thank you so much for joining us today. And I formally invite you. You will be one of our keynote speaker at the Miami Convention Center on August 29th. That is a Saturday. So everybody at University of Miami should come with you because you are the innovator of the future. And actually, again, thank you for working on solving real problems that will make a very positive impact worldwide. That's and of course it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So again, I believe in your cause. And to everyone that is watching, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And again, thank you, muchas gracias, Rob, for being part of this podcast. And we'll see you next month for another episode of IO Scholarship Superhero Podcast. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.